What is up guys, welcome back to another video. This is going to be part 2 of our handstand series video. On my previous video I did my best to cover all the basics in terms of how to get started towards your handstand. We covered the basic strength, the basic balance and the basic alignment that we require before we begin our handstand journey. By reading through your comments, I was able to see in which areas you guys are having the most amount of trouble when it comes to your handstand. Something that I saw repeating through the comment is how much should I kick up every time I go into my handstand? How do I find that perfect point of balance every time I kicking up? So on this video, I'm going to cover different ways that you can kick up into your handstand. How to find that perfect spot where you're not kicking too soft, that you never get to that spot and never find balance, but you're also not kicking too hard that you're always going over and falling. You guys also asked me to go into more detail on how to exit the handstand safely, or how do I fall, how do I get out of my handstand if you feel like your body's going over. So I will also cover that and explain all the different ways that you can exit the handstand safely. So in short, we're looking at how to kick up, how to exit the handstand, but most importantly, how to actually hold the handstand. The handstand kick up. Kicking up into your handstand can be very frustrating at the beginning, and it can also be a waste of energy just because you're kicking up so many times, maybe 100, maybe 200, and you're not being able to hold that for 1 or 2 seconds. So you're not accumulating time for your shoulders to become stronger, for your neuromuscular system to adapt to being upside down. That is why at the beginning you want to make sure that you're doing both. Work off the wall, but also work with the wall. So you can accumulate seconds being upside down and giving your body a chance to adapt to the position. Me personally, I rarely kick up into my handstand just because once you have the strength to jump into your handstand or press up into your handstand, kicking up can be one of the hardest ways to actually find that balance. But it is also the way that requires the least amount of strength, and it is the method that we need to use at the beginning. So first of all, how do we properly kick up into our handstand? In my knowledge, there are 2 ways that you can kick up into your handstand, and that's first with your hands already on the ground, starting from a runner position and then kicking up into your handstand, and second, which is what gymnasts uses, you start from a standing position, you throw your hands into the floor and you go into your handstand. To be honest, I'm not qualified to teach you the second method just because I don't do it that often, or maybe not at all, so I will only cover the first method on this video. Start on a plank position by placing your hands shoulder width apart and begin walking your feet towards your hands. Bend one leg to give you the impulse to go up and keep the other one straight to help you with the swinging. Bring one leg up, and as soon as your hips are on top of your shoulders, you're going to match both legs together and balance in your hands. So to make it simpler for you, what I'm going to do is show you the 3 most common mistakes that people do when kicking up into a handstand, as well as 3 tips or 3 solutions for those mistakes so you can get that kick up right every single time. One of the mistakes that I see is beginning with your shoulders way too behind from your wrist. This will cause excessive momentum when kicking up, and as soon as you get into the position, you're just gonna fall over. The way we can correct this is to begin with your shoulders as on top of the wrist as we possibly can. In that way, when we're kicking up, our shoulders are right on top of our hands, and what we're missing is just stacking our hips and then stacking our feet. Second, and arguably the most common mistake in my opinion, is leading with your feet instead of leading with your hips. What this is going to do is allow your feet to go forward but keeping your hips behind, never feeling stuck in the position and never finding balance. To correct this, think about your hips going forward and up instead of your feet. Your feet are gonna follow your hips once your hips are right on top of your shoulders. The third mistake will be to match your legs way too early. This means getting your legs together before it is time to do so. You're bringing one leg up and then suddenly and rapidly you're bringing the other one before actually getting into the position first. The way we can avoid this is bringing our legs with control. You first want to get into the position, having your hips on top of your shoulders, and once you find that balance is when the other leg is going to match the opposite leg. Keeping in mind the mistakes and the 3 tips that you can incorporate into your practice, here are a couple drills that you can use in order to strengthen the kick up as well as your handstand hold. The first drill will be to hold a handstand with one leg down and one leg up, or a single leg handstand hold. This is going to force you to use your hips and stack them on top of your shoulder instead of relying on your feet to be on top of your hip. You can bend one leg or you can keep it straight, whichever method works for you. The second drill that I have for you is escalating kick-ups. For this one, you're going to kick up as soft as you can, maybe an inch or two off the ground, and then you're gonna start escalating upward, kicking up harder every single time, and once you get to the 6th to the 10th rep, you should be getting into the position. This is gonna teach you control, not to go over every single time that you are kicking up. The third drill that I have for you is called wall leg switches. For this one, you want to start on a runner position again, kick up against the wall, and find stability first in your handstand. Then start switching your legs towards the wall, keeping one in the air and one towards the wall. Try to go as slow and as controlled as possible, keeping your hips engaged and stacked on top of your shoulders. This is going to teach you single leg motion and hip awareness as well as leg awareness. Next one is exactly the same as number 3, but it's a little bit more advanced. This time we're gonna have our chest or our face facing the wall, and we're gonna repeat the same drill as number 3. This one is much harder just because first it requires that you know how to exit the handstand just in case you go over, but also it is really hard to keep your hips centered and stacked. But this is actually what this drill is for, is to help you create awareness on your hips and your core while you move your legs individually. Last one is called single leg negative kick up. You're going to kick up against a wall, but without matching the legs, you're just going to press with your fingers for your body to go back to the ground. Try to go as slow and as controlled as possible. The way to do this is to keep your hips always on top of your shoulders or slightly forward your shoulders to counterbalance the weight that your legs are bringing towards the ground. I am confident that adding these drills into your practice, maybe pick one or two, maybe pick the one that you found the hardest because that may be a weak link that you need to work on, and add them throughout the week, maybe at the beginning of your practice or at the end of your practice, and I promise you that your body will adapt to the kick up as well as holding the handstand. Now let's talk about how to exit the handstand safe. The first method we have is the handstand forward roll. Me personally, I don't like this method just because it involves your neck and head safety in the process. However, a lot of people like this method and it is also considered a skill in gymnastics, so I think it's fair that I cover it. First, kick up into your handstand like you normally would, and once you pass that point of balance, you're going to bend your arms, tuck your chin into your chest and roll into a ball forward. You want to make sure to be in a hollow body position and round your spine as much as possible to avoid smashing the ground with your back. So again, get into the position, make sure you're tucking your chin and you're rolling over your back. Second, we have the handstand to wheel. This is another method that I personally do not like just because again it involves the safety now of your shoulder as well as your lower back, and if your shoulders are not flexible enough, you can really hurt yourself when trying to go from handstand to wheel. However, it can be one of the easiest and most natural ways to exit the handstand, and it is also considered a skill in many disciplines, so again, I think it's fair that I cover it. Simply kick up into your handstand as usual, and when losing control, allow your feet to go forward and go into a wheel position. If you see that your arms bend when you get into wheel, it can be one of two reasons. First, your shoulders are not flexible enough, therefore your body compensates by bending your arms. But it can also be a fear factor, and your body is just trying to protect you by bending your arms. So to see if you have the flexibility or not, go into a full wheel without having to exit a handstand. But whether you have the flexibility or not to go into a full wheel, if this method feels right in your body, please go ahead and use it. Third and last but not least, we have the handstand twist. As you guys probably know from my previous video, this is a method that I use myself and that I use with all my clients, just because for me it's the simplest way and the safest way to exit the handstand. Again, you want to begin in a runner position, kick up into your handstand like you normally would, and once you pass that point of balance, you're gonna twist to your most natural side. You gotta find this side by yourself, but let's say it's your right, your left hand is the one that is gonna support most of your body weight while your right hand is twisting. And if you're twisting towards your left, your right hand is the one that is gonna support the most amount of weight. So whichever method you choose, make sure it feels right in your body and that you're being safe in the process. Here are 3 points that apply to any of the 3 methods that I just mentioned. Number 1 is that the safest and fastest way to exit the handstand and as well to hold the handstand, it is to have a partner assisting you. When it comes to exiting the handstand, you want the partner to hold you in a perfect handstand position, then move you over so your body is going over your hands, and then slightly twist, roll over or go into a wheel to exit the handstand. Second point is to make sure that you're always falling when your body is going over your hands and not before. It is a really bad habit to always be twisting before you ever get into the position, and this is gonna lead you to never be into a balanced position. The third tip that I have is do not obsess with any of the method that I just mentioned, and do not obsess with exiting the handstand in general. Your main goal should be to hold the handstand. Only exit the handstand when needed. So there you have it, guys. I really hope you found this video helpful. Yes, my camera died when I was doing the outro. Yes, I got a really sharp haircut. I really hope you found some value in this video. Please let me know in the comment section down below any question that you may have. I'm gonna be doing a short Q&A at the end of every single video to answer the most critical questions that I see when it comes to the handstand. Finally, for part 3, I had 2 ideas in mind and I need your help. First one is shoulder flexibility to better your alignment, and second would be shoulder strength or core strength to hold the handstand longer. So please let me know in the comment section down below. Option number 1 would be shoulder flexibility and option number 2 would be shoulder or core strength. Finally, if you found this video helpful and if you like it, please give me a big thumbs up. That really helps the channel to grow and it helps me produce better content in the future. Also, share with a friend that can really benefit from all these handstands videos, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I will see you guys next week. Tell my friends to like the video. Tell them, like the video, like the video. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Thank you so much for giving me that like. And if you haven't given me that like, I'm watching you, and this little poopy right here is also watching you. So make sure to hit that like button, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.